Hey y'all, Tracery here with Picture Me Living and another solo episode for you guys. Super excited to talk to you guys today because I wasn't excited at first to not have a guest for another week. However, it's so much to talk about, right? And I gotta keep the momentum going. I gotta keep reminding you about the itineraries on the website. Go get yours. I'm gonna put the link down below right now. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the video on YouTube so you can see it. And if you're watching the YouTube, my lipstick is a little bit darker than I would like for this video. I feel like a lady. A lady of the night, maybe. But I want y'all to go watch the YouTube, actually. And I'm going to be more intentional with my conversation because my personal goal, and this hasn't been any feedback from anybody out there, just my personal goal is less than 40-minute conversation. Sometimes I move a little slower, sometimes I talk a little slower, and sometimes I veer off into a different, land in my brain or whatever. It could get a bit erratic up there. I love that. I love that someone described conversation, not on the podcast either. This was a total separate conversation, and the young lady was like, wow, that conversation was so chaotic and I love it. And I was like, yes, because you can go pretty much anywhere and hear a routine conversation and hear the same thing over and over again. I have friends sharing me memes and other people's podcasts, and I get in my feelings about that. I check myself because, the better we get over here, other people are going to share my work. And the more that I get Instagram worthy of sharing, people are going to start sharing my stuff. But I get in my feelings because y'all not tired of hearing people complain about relationships? Because I'm tired of getting those. And it's not because my stuff isn't getting shared. It is because I'm legit tired of hearing what people need to be doing in relationships and what people aren't doing. Like, damn, can we talk about aliens? Can we talk about where's the weirdest place that you've had sex? Let's talk about that. Where's the weirdest place that you have had sex? And I mean country, location, in the closet of your kid's room. Where's the weirdest place that you've had sex? Email me, admin@picturemeliving.com. I want to know because I want to talk about that. Because we're going to have non-routine conversation over here at Picture Me Living. Started off with a bang there. That was very random. But the beach, for me, is the most random place that I've had sex. The beach. Do you know that if you have sex on the beach and you get caught, that you have to register as a sex offender? Like, how random is that for conversation? If you have sex with your partner, you're an adult, and you have sex with your adult partner, and the police catch you, and they take you down to the station in handcuffs, and you got to put in your, fingerprints and shit, you are now a sex offender. You have to register as a sex offender for the rest of your life. And your neighbors are going to be like, what the fuck? And it's like, okay, I was just, being naughty. I was fucking on the beach. Relax with the judgment. However, I didn't get caught, obviously. But sex on the beach is the best sex for me, from experience, and because I like to experience things, and I like for things to be an experience. I'm not saying sex in the house isn't amazing, please. That's not what I'm saying. You can make your home, a home, and you're supposed to, fuck all over that home. However, for me personally, the feeling of the sand in my fingertips, the grittiness, while sexual acts are being performed. Best sex ever. Best sex ever. Sand does get in places though that you might not want sand, so you kind of have to be prepared. And there's only a few, like, you know how you watch movies and they be rolling around in, you know, the sand or the grass if they fucking in the park or whatever. Like, that's actually logistically unable. You can't do that. You have to definitely narrow down the 69 position to just, you know, 3 or 4. Doggy style. You can't can't use hands for anything. Can't use hands for anything unless, you know, you are the receiver and you're digging your hands in the sand. That's the only time you can use your hand. But you can't, you know, move somebody's head. Once you do that, the sand is going to get, it's wingworm is now introduced into the conversation. Like, you have to narrow it down to just 1, 2. But I promise you, make sure the cops ain't around. Don't tell the cops that Trey Cherie told you to do this. I do not want to also have to register as a sex offender, and I'm not enjoying it with you. Like, at least send me a video if you're gonna get me in trouble too. But best sex ever, sex on the beach. Thank me later. And preferably not on South Beach when it's kids out. And listen, use some common sense with it. I just thought about that. I'm probably giving some horrible advice to some horrible people out there. Make sure it's like dusk. Make sure it's, you know, as it's getting dark, you know, or make sure it's actually dark, you know. Make sure ain't no kids out there, families, whatever. The beach is such a vast place that there is no reason why. And it's so accessible to everyone. It's a drive. It's a road trip to a beach somewhere. Whether it's a cold beach, warm beach, hot beach, summer, winter, fall. I want to know the most odd or unique place that you have made it with your mate. Or plural, whatever. Girl, boy, whatever you got going on. I want to know what's the most unique place. Or favorite place. And I skipped over my reason why, because once you guys give me your feedback, I'm going to talk about this with the guests. But to experience an experience with an experience, follow me here, and with someone that you care about, that orgasm is immense. I mean, it's something that you can't reproduce in the regular place that you experience that experience. So thank me later once again. I do have some bucket list places that I have not yet accomplished sex, such as an airplane. Logistically, I'm gonna let y'all know if I get that. Not with a stranger. It's gotta be with somebody, you know, it's gotta be with somebody that I care about. Because once again, you know, the risk of getting caught is like, you mean I can't fly with Delta ever again for the rest of my life? Because, you know, little hand job, you know, that's not fair. But, you know, we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it. That is on my bucket list, travel bucket list. Season 1 of Picture Me Living, I did mention a travel bucket list and the items that were on it. We're going to add that to it. Sex on a plane. Once again, to experience an experience while experiencing something. Top-notch orgasm. Ladies, thank me later. Thank me later. And men, weigh in on this. If the woman's orgasm is top-notch, does it increase your pleasure? So, in an effort to be more intentional with my conversation here on Picture Me Living, I think that I know that I'm unique. My name is Trey Cherie. It's not another Trey Cherie out there. And I think that you guys know I'm unique. My name is Trey Cherie. It's not another Trey Cherie out there. But I don't convey that well through my conversation. I will admit that. I don't convey it well enough. And I want to be more intentional with that. With that being said, conversation is going to get even more chaotic, but it's going to get a little bit more educational but more routine chaos. With that being said, once again, we're going to bring the big word of the day. Big word of the day. I've gotten picked on in my adult life for using words like expeditiously before T.I. I got a friend right now, I don't know if he want me to call him out, but he, picks on me constantly. What you just say? I gotta look that up. Like, I use big words, not very frequent, but frequent enough to where I catch myself sometimes. Superfluous. Superfluous is how you would read that word. superfluous. The definition is unnecessary, especially through being more than enough. Superfluous. An example, the purchaser should avoid asking for superfluous information. Now, Trey, they could just say unnecessary information, but it just don't make the sentence sound that good, I do say that word, not as often as my other big words, but I heard it in a TV show earlier today. Fargo is my new TV show, by the way, and it is a word that I knew exactly what they were saying, and I knew in my mind that most people didn't know what this person was talking about. It was like a lawyer or some shit. I said, you know what? Let me bring this to Picture Me Living, because I won the spelling bee championship like 10 years in a row. So why not bring some more useless yet educational information to Picture Me Living? Guests. So this is my chance to solicit guests. And I want to do more Zoom calls. Hit me up. Y'all know where to find me. And if you don't, I'm going to put all the information on the YouTube video. On my camera, I can see my lipstick, and I'm not feeling it for the podcast, but we knee deep, we balls deep in it, so let's go. Soliciting guests and questions will always be a need for Picture Me Living, especially for my solo episodes. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank y'all for the feedback. And speaking of feedback, segueing from topic to topic was a negative feedback that I received from someone, and it is difficult to work on that. It makes me want to stop talking, and I want to say, okay, I'm segueing to the next topic. With that being said, travel story that was submitted to me by a listener made me want to also do this every episode along with the big word of the day. I want to talk more about you guys' travel stories, because one, I can't talk about all of my travel stories. Some of them are girl coded. Even if I don't fuck with you no more, what happened on that girl's trip stays on that girl trip. I even had a girl call me before that flaked on my trip. I don't know what she told her dude, because she still went on the trip. But she called me like, yo, I heard you doing a podcast. So, yeah, I was like, girl, I got you. I'm probably telling on her now. I don't fuck with her no more, so I don't care. But cool or not, something happened on a girl's trip. I think what happens between girls is sacred. But also, I can't tell all my, travel stories because they're still ongoing. I'm still taking trips with certain people. Certain stories go over certain, events. It goes over certain trips, and it spans, So it's very hard for me to tell all of my stories every episode. This podcast should be here for a very long time, and I can't just give y'all everything, at one time. You guys submitting your travel stories, whether it's a road trip story, wife got sick, threw up in a car, whether it's, you took a flight with your 6-month-old baby, which why would you do that? But, submit those stories to me so we can discuss those. So this listener submitted a Navy travel story, and it brought up a very interesting topic of Dubai and how it was before and how it is now. Before it was Dubai, air quotations, it was Jebel Ali, and it was a lot of rich people, obviously, and then it was us, you know, these poor fucking enlisted, and a few sprinkle some poor officers, obviously, because everyone on a United States ship is poor compared to these oil tycoons over there. And it was totally different. It wasn't something to look forward to like Dubai is now. It wasn't highly sought after when I first joined the Navy. It didn't become highly sought after until about 2009 and after. Anyway, in this story, the guy proceeds to tell me how, and you know, men, they looking for a little something. If you go back to Street Talk episode, he gonna give you the scoop on what they looking for. And it's very easy to find that in Dubai. But this, once again, was Jebel Ali before Dubai was Dubai. And before Dubai became the Dubai that we know, it was not a big Americanized thing, right? They had to sneak and listen to hip hop, things like that. It was very different. You know, I can't get too in depth into it, but it was very different. For us, it was boring. I'm just gonna be honest. For us as a port visit, it was boring. It wasn't no clubs. It was barely any bars. Women had to do certain things. We all had to dress a certain way, whether man or woman. Like this shirt, So yeah, this listener said, you know, this was during that time where that was just a routine, boring visit. They go to a bar that's very boring, very bland. They're just happy to be off the ship or whatever. And they randomly run into an oil tycoon that owns all these gas stations in Dubai. And he like, you know, I know what y'all want. Let's go. And they think, oh, we finna be sex trafficked. Like, this is everything that safety stand down taught us. By the way, safety stand out in the Navy when you're going somewhere new. They make you watch all these videos about safety. Watch your six. Look over your shoulders. Pay attention to your surroundings. You gotta wear this. You gotta do this. You can't curse in this place. Certain places you can't even spit on the ground. They break down all the rules for each place that you're visiting, right? So for you guys that don't understand why it's so comfortable for me to travel, maybe that's why. Because I was in the Navy and I dealt with a lot of safety stand-downs and a lot of briefings about different cities, different cultures, different mannerisms, and how most people actually hate Americans. So anyway, they're like, oh shit, this is what safety stand-down, this is literally what they told us not to do, but fuck it, we finna go do it. And so they went to a bar that was playing like hip hop. DMX is a artist that he remembered hearing. And it was women walking around like, you know, what's up? What's up? You want some pussy? This is how much it is. Let's go. Like, what you need? Some cocaine? Like, it was people walking around offering them everything that they weren't supposed to have in the military. And a few of the people that he was with, because you can't go anywhere alone in the Navy, right? Once you leave the ship, you have to have a buddy system. You have to go with someone or a group. Check out, kind of like checking out a library book. So it's rules to that, right? So some of the people in his group was like, oh, I got 3 Ethiopian bitches. What's up? We gotta go. And I don't know what you gonna do, but I'm leaving with these 3 Ethiopian bitches right now. I don't know what you're gonna do, but we're leaving. So we came here together, we're leaving. So obviously the person that submitted the story said, well damn, I ain't got what I came here for, but fuck it. They go back, they just take a group of people with them, and that same party transfers to the hotel, and this is something like a movie, the way he describes it. Get back to the hotel, and it was a situation where they were just holding their bags. They never checked into their room. They get back and they're like, your room is oversold, but we got a penthouse for you because you're a military member. Salute America, blah, blah, blah. So now they got a penthouse, 3 Ethiopian bitches. And whatever else was in that story that I can't speak on. And they had a time. I said, oh, I didn't do any of that in the Navy. I didn't do any of that in the Navy, and I don't do any of that on my trips. So, you know, Ethiopian women are gorgeous, beautiful, you know. So I'm actually happy for him. You know what? Send me some pictures from there. I'm not going to share it. He specifically was like, yo, I want to share this story, but I can't say who was there. He told me who was there, and I am completely flabbergasted. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself, but I'm not going to. There are some stand-up gentlemen that are married with families. Like a dream though, like, and when you join the military, and I by no means, I'm not a recruiter. I don't give a fuck what you do. However, imagine graduating high school, joining the military, and you're from fucking Lubbock, Texas. I don't fucking know. Join the military and you end up in that situation with 3 Ethiopian bitches. Boy, it ain't enough Viagra in the world. Listen. Listen. Oh my God. Like, I can only imagine. I'm happy that they got to experience that. Next topic. See, yeah, it's hard for me to segue into conversations. It's very difficult. So this is something that I've been thinking about for a few weeks. Drink of the hour is some Don Julio Reposado that one of my girls left over here. Thank you. Mixed with a little Sprite, a little ice that melted. Why do we tell kids in 2023 that Santa is real? Why is this still a thing? Are you telling your kids that Santa is bringing them gifts if they're good? Why? I want to make this good. I really want to make this good. I really want to make this part of the conversation good because I'm a Grinch. I'm a bitch. And I own that. Why are you telling your kids about Santa? Okay, my personal Santa story. When I was growing up, my grandma raised me, obviously, talk about that. But my grandmother was Santa. I grew up in very low income apartment called the Projects. There was no chimney. We ain't had no cookies. If we had some cookies, there was some processed, packaged, cold ass cookies. We weren't baking no motherfucking cookies. I'm not leaving Santa none of this milk. I need that for my cereal. Santa was not coming to the Projects, but guess what? I had gifts from Santa. Consuelo Jackson, my grandma, made sure that I had gifts from Santa. And because I was so small, you know, I stuck around with Granny a lot. And I would see her go to places that free gifts for kids for, you know, Christmas or outreach place. My grandmother did a lot of outreach work. She's very a philanthropist, if you will. And she had access to like Braves game. I went to, oh my God, Chipper Jones has to know who I am. I mean, at this point, we would be out there yelling at Chipper Jones, all these project kids. My grandma had access to so much stuff, you know. Specifically Christmas time. And she was even known in the hood as Santa. When the fuck did I have time to believe in Santa? And she would write Santa on the gifts or whatnot. But you gotta understand, like, I was very young and saw a little girl get killed by a stray bullet. I was very young seeing, you know, drugs and a lot of shit. Like, why Santa ain't doing something about all of that? So I'm not gonna say I didn't believe in Santa, but I knew who the fuck Santa was. Santa was going to get everybody gifts from up the street off Fulton Industrial and driving down Bankhead, bringing it back to the house. And my grandma wore fucking Santa hats. She knew who the fuck she was. We knew who the fuck she was. The hood knew who the fuck she was. Bam, that's that. So, do you think that I told my son about Santa? You absolutely the fuck not. But I did give him a chance to believe in. You gotta let kids have their imagination. I have a soft spot for that. And you do have to allow kids to believe in something. But to brainwash a kid and say, if you're good, Santa will give you whatever you want. How does that translate into adulthood where it don't matter how good you are, ain't nobody giving you shit? You got to go to work for it. So what I did when my son was a baby, because, you know, I wanted him to, you know, believe and have an imagination, right? But I also wanted to be realistic. All the gifts was from either his mom or his dad. All of the gifts were from either his mom or his dad. And he came to me a few times, and I took him to the mall to see Santa. We got pictures with Santa, relax. But he would come to me and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell Santa. And I would be like, "Oh, okay, you do what you gotta do." But your mom and daddy got these gifts. Had the Christmas tree up. I just recently stopped putting Christmas trees up, maybe a couple of years ago. So for years, even after the incident, we'll get to the incident in a second. But for years, you know, there was evidence of Christmas. And he got gifts. I wrapped them up. I did all that. But one year I was struggling. I had got out of the military. My salary stopped for about 1.5 to 2 years. And it wasn't the same, you know. And I was in a relationship at the time, very healthy relationship, but it still wasn't the same. And ladies, single moms out there, you know what I mean. When you first get into a relationship with a guy, like, he's not responsible for certain things. So, yeah, man, I was in the car, first grade shawty. He was telling me all this shit Santa was gonna do. Santa was gonna do this. Santa was gonna get this. Santa was gonna get that. I said, June, your mama and your daddy is getting that. And he sat there quiet. You could see the light bulb go off in his head. He was like, yeah, but Santa's gonna help you get that. Man, I lost my, listen, this is probably one of the lowest parental moments that I've had in my life, but I lost it in a calm manner. But I was like, you still believe in that? Why do you still believe? Like, aren't you at the age where, and his lips, oh my God, they were quivering, and he was just like, because he was at the cusp of that age, you know. Kids were coming to school, you know, telling him Santa wasn't real or whatever. And boy, did I feel terrible. When I seen that little lip, that bottom lip was just, I was, oh my God, I'm such a terrible mom. I pulled my car over and everything, and I was like, oh, buddy, all right, here we are. This is one of the first of many difficult conversations we're going to have. But I never told you Santa was real. And he was like, I know. So are you and daddy going to get me? And I was just like, oh, shit, I done fucked this up. Oh, man. this for all the people out there that think that June is super spoiled. He has a mean ass mama. So take that back. Yeah, I fucked that up. I did. I feel terrible. However, I asked him the other day, like, did I fuck up Santa for you? And he was like, no. I think he just said that to make me feel better. Thank you, buddy, for doing that. But ask yourself this. You can go in on me. I'm okay. I'm over it. I've wiped the tears. I'm over it. But ask yourself this. Because I have met people along my journey of life of different cultures that have said, because you know, different cultures, they are allowed to be more outspoken than our generation. Do what you want with that information. We got backhanded when we spoke up. But different cultures are allowed to speak up. And I've met people that said that they resent their parents for telling them that Santa was real. Like, why would you lie to me like that? Like, I really believe this. And I grew up with trust issues, not only from my parents, but you gotta think about this, you guys. I know that it sounds, you know, because our community doesn't really address mental health and things like that. But that is a huge lie that we tell our kids, that if you act right, somebody's going to give you something for no reason at all. And you as an adult, you know that that's not true. Unless you a bad bitch and you run up on a LeBron James, pre-marriage obviously, because I love Savannah. But unless you run up on if you a bad bitch and you run up on a basketball player that makes millions and millions of dollars and he has a beard, you can sit on his lap and you can get whatever the fuck you want. Other than that, the rest of us go to work. Nobody's giving us anything. Nobody's giving us anything through life. So once again, ask yourself, why do you say that? I'm not telling you not to do that. Like I said, I had a balance. The Christmas tree is beautiful. The holiday is beautiful. And you do need to enjoy the time off with family. That is very important. No matter how small your family is, no matter how huge your family is, that is the point. I seriously doubt Jesus was a Capricorn. You don't think that people made this holiday up so that you can go into debt and buy a whole bunch of people gifts that they're not going to appreciate? Once again, I know I'm a Grinch. Next topic. What is the most that you would spend on a hotel? Do you think that spending a lot on a hotel room will make or break the trip? Do you think that spending a lot on a hotel room will dictate how good the trip is? The conversation that I had with my son's father, I think it was the second conversation that we had. I was discussing with him. I was really trying to get him to give me some money for this trip since his son was going. But I was discussing with him the low budget hotel room that we were going to in Nairobi. And you know, the safetyness was a big question mark. However, I'm always looking at different places to stay, and I'm like, okay, $2,900 a night in St. Lucia. What are your thoughts? I'm going to use this time on a YouTube video to post clips of what this hotel room looks like. $2,900 a night. And you have to think that that includes certain things. Every hotel includes breakfast, but for $2,900 a night, that breakfast is gonna be lit. They gonna pull the pig out the pen, cut the throat, peel the skin back, fry you up some bacon for $29. I promise you, the bacon is gonna taste a little bit different. They're also gonna include things like water activities. That if you stayed in a Holiday Inn Express, if St. Lucia has a Holiday Inn Express, I doubt it, but they're going to include things like paddleboarding, snorkeling, a whole bunch of shit that is included, but it don't equal $2,900 a night. Not even gonna lie. And so I did a little digging on this hotel. It's called Jade Mountain, St. Lucia, and there are nights that are $1,455 a night, $1,455. What do you think? Like, it's on my bucket list to do this particular hotel. I've been to a lot of Caribbean places. St. Lucia is one spot that I have not visited because that is where I want to stay, and I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that. I need y'all to keep listening to this podcast so that somebody else can pay for it. Even dating, right now, I wouldn't even want my man to pay for that because you can give me that money. The fuck? We go somewhere else. Chalet Alphos in Italy. I have visited there before. That is my most looked at video on TikTok. It went viral. And it is my most visited, tapped, whatever video on Instagram. And for 2 nights, first of all, 16 and up. My son was not 16, but he's taller than me, so I don't think they asked any questions. Language barrier, I just think they was like, fuck it. And the type of mom that I am, obviously I ruined Santa for my son, so I just felt like I would be more on alert anyway in case they were doing adults only things. There were no adults only things there. It was no topless, nothing. It's cold as fuck actually. During the day it did get pretty warm in February, but anyway, for 2 nights we spent about $1,100 for 2 nights for a basic ass room, and the food was mediocre at best. Once again, it's an experience that was so good that not only I want to go back to, but my son wants to go back to, and he's the Unbothered King. Oh, that's his new nickname, the Unbothered Scorpio King. Every time I think of that, I think of Future, and I'm like, damn, is June gonna be like Future? So hopefully he doesn't. But anyway, if he rich like Future, okay, whatever. You can afford having 1 million kids. Anyway, Chalet Alphos, I'm gonna post a whole bunch of highlights, prices, etc. Do you think that that is worth the price? Mind you, I said, let me go back and see what the price is now, because yesterday's price is not today's price, right? Today's price at Chalet Alphos is, for the room that we had, €455 a night. So I don't feel like doing a conversion right now, I'm sorry. Definitely more than what we paid. The more expensive room is €900 a night. You can't get it, so that does have a canopy bed. Is more romantic for the romance people going there. And then it had like a distinct balcony. Mind you, my basic room had a balcony also. With that being said, if every room has a view, would you want the more expensive? You already made it all the way over there to Italy, so would you want the more expensive room? But what is the most that you would pay? Weigh in on that. I want to end things with advice, and I want to take my own advice here, and I did. Be more intentional. Move with intention. Move with a purpose. What does that mean? So let's just say dating. You're just out there dating. You're just out there seeing what's happening. You're just trying to see how people are moving, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to be married, you want to have kids, you have to date with intention. It's none of that. You have to date with a purpose. You got to have conversations with people to see where they're headed and move on. No excuses. Don't let your body, get in the way. Don't let your physical get in the way. You just got to move on. If you know you want to raise and you want to make a specific amount of money on your job, it's not paying you that, and you know there are other jobs out here doing this, apply for the other jobs. Move with intention. Consistency is key. Move with intention. Move with purpose. Thank y'all for listening. We're not too far over the time. I'm actually very proud of myself, and I'm extremely thankful for all of the feedback. Please email, answer the questions, go back, review, and actually I'm going to give you a timeline on YouTube. How about that? Look below at the timeline, go back, see what questions I asked, email me. Not going to do that for the audio, sorry. Click on the YouTube video. I need subscribers. I need y'all to go over there, set up an account on YouTube and subscribe. And thank y'all. Super happy that you guys are still listening and still hanging in there with me. See y'all next time.